When I got there, my wife was crying. She told me something went wrong.
Peter Criss, the former Catman and one of the original members of the band Kiss, has released his new solo album, One for All. He celebrated the release of the album with an in-store for diehards at New York City's Union Square Virgin Megastore. The album is a well-rounded album of music far away from the hard rock pulse of Kiss. The album features Paul Schaefer from the David Letterman Band and several other guest stars. While a lighter album may be surprising to some, he said that hardcore fans familiar with his past albums know what his musical tastes are about.
I really methodically thought about this stuff, which is something Peter Criss never does. When Paul heard it, I met him at the Ed Sullivan Theater, his office. He goes, "You got a big pair of somethings." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "This is going to be heavy. You know, the Kiss fans are not going to know what this is coming from." And I said, "You know what? I understand it, but they never really did it. And if they did their homework and go way, 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 way back, Peter Criss, to Chelsea even, but go back to me, my album had horns, strings, black girls singing. I love musical instruments, and coming from a musical, artistic family, my family's very artistic, it dwells in me. My mother sang like a bird. She should have made it. I redid What a Difference a Day made for her with just the piano, bass, and brushes. It came out like magic, and it was fun doing it, and doing it for... I'm a funny guy. When I really know I'm going to do this, like I'm going to dedicate the show to you, I'm going to put my heart into it. It's just a little thing I've always had from the streets.
Criss said that One for All is autobiographical and sheds light on his thoughts and feelings about the events in his life in the last 10 years, including the departure from Kiss.
I want to put children on One for All because it's written about 9/11, and it's true to the heart. I feel war is bad. My dad went through World War II, and my grandfather went through World War I. I almost went to Nam. I see a lot of wars, but this is different. This is terrorism. This is murder, and it's out of control. The TV depresses me. I put it on. Children being molested, cops being killed, firemen. So this album, it has so much more. I'll never write another thing like it. I think it's about the best music I've ever composed in my life. There was, again, the 10 years of getting back with the guys. The ride was immense. Talk about a roller coaster ride of life. It truly was. But with the good and the bad comes out of this. And I feel, again, when I wrote this stuff, but the most important thing when I wrote it was the fans came into mind. Many nights I'd peek through the curtain and go, "Holy shit, we're sold out." Wow, wasn't that cool? And it was a different time around when we reunited. When we got back together, the fans were even more in love with us, probably through the years of fabricating stories and Daddy telling his son now his son's coming to the concert.
One for All also features a remake of Stephen Sondheim's Send in the Clowns from the Broadway show Company, made famous by Frank Sinatra, What a Difference a Day Makes, and Heart Behind the Hands from the Broadway hit Brooklyn. The title track and album opener was written in the aftermath of the 9/11 attack on his home city of New York.
Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve?